Hey guys, Malia here. Welcome to my podcast, Round Plug, Square Hole. And today we're talking about awakening. What is awakening? What does it mean? What does it entail? How do you go through it? And what are the stages and the phases through it? Let me start off by saying that this is probably one of the most pivotal moments in someone's life, and going through an awakening is probably one of the best things that can ever happen to you. It'll be one of the hardest things that you ever have to do, but it'll be one of the most rewarding experiences that you ever have in your life. Right now, as we speak, the world is going through a global awakening, a mass awakening, a shifting in consciousness. People see disruption and chaos and endings and pauses, but I believe that everything happened the way it has, so everyone takes a moment to pause and reflect in on themselves. We were running ourselves dry, we were burning out, we were destroying the world and the earth and Mother Nature, and the universe, God, whatever you want to believe in, had to intervene. This segment is really going to be non denominational, so I can reach as many people as possible. And it really filters into whatever belief system you have, because I personally believe that we're all saying the same thing, we just say it differently. So, the best way to put this, I think, or the best analogy is an awakening breaks you out of the fabricated reality that is the Matrix. It is like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. Red pill or blue pill? Are you going to pick the red pill and have the revelation of the truth, of the spiritual world around you, of yourself, of reality as it truly is? Or do you want to go back into this fabricated illusion that you believe is real? Let me explain this through my own journey. I had many pre awakenings in my life where the divine and God and the spiritual realm around me would try to reveal itself to me in my life. But I would plug back into the matrix in the sense of I was young, I wanted to experience the world. I still wanted to go out with my friends, I wanted to party, I wanted to quote unquote enjoying my life, or what I perceived as enjoying my life. I would have a revelations and know the truth, but I would retreat back into myself. I was raised Christian and I knew that the spiritual world around me existed. I'm sensitive to that, and a lot of my gifts are rooted in the spiritual realm itself. So I had a lot of experiences with it. I had revelations with it. I had encounters, but I wasn't rooted in it entirely. Like, yes, my faith, I knew where my faith lied, but my existence wasn't really centered around it. So in 2018, I had my spiritual awakening. How it started was actually, it was interesting because with a spiritual awakening, it can be triggered in several different ways. Normally, it takes a traumatic event for it to be triggered in your life. You have to be broken to a point where you've never been broken before. A lot of people experience their spiritual awakening through the various types of soulmates out there. And the reason why this happens is because when you meet or interact with a member of your soul tribe, of the many different types of soulmates there are, you are awakened to the fifth dimension around you. For me, it was a combination of the two, I think. Basically, for me, I had my spiritual awakening in 2018. It started off as a research into numerology. For some unknown reason, I don't know why I started researching this. I remember I started using the word vibes and vibration a lot. I had never had anyone around me use that terminology before. I had never been exposed to that, and it kind of just started happening. I don't know how else to explain it. It just started happening. And I just started evolving and searching because it's like my soul was calling me to do the research. My soul was calling me to find answers. And I think my entire life, because the reason why I had so many implosions, the reason why I never felt completely whole is because I knew there was something else out there that I needed to find. So through numerology, all of a sudden I started seeing the repeating numbers. I started seeing 1111 and doubles. And angel numbers is a podcast topic in itself, but slowly but surely the spiritual realm and the veil, quote unquote, was dropped and the world around me shifted. I changed my perspective. I was awakened to the fifth dimension around me. And when people say fifth dimension, you get confused because the thing is, once you start awakening, you realize that the fifth dimension is not a place, it's a state of being, and it is a frequency and a perspective. All that started shifting. I started growing. I started understanding how the world worked around me. And through that, I was able to objectively retreat and look at myself. For perspective, I had been battling depression for like over 6 years at this point, and where medication was never able to fully help me, I went to countless psychiatrists, psychologists, and everything. But fixing my spiritual health changed everything and basically healed that for me. I started meditating all the time. I started centering myself. I started connecting. And the stages are very interesting because it's almost like a blind man seeing for the first time. The world looked different. I started changing my perspective. I started seeing things differently. And I started understanding the power of now. I was awakened through some people categorize it as new age or law of attraction and understanding the world through those eyes, but I started understanding the concept of manifestation. I started understanding that what you project you attract. I started realizing that your physical reality is a manifestation of your inner being. I started looking at my stuff and I started facing my stuff. Now that we've kind of haphazardly explained my own personal journey and like being awakened and going through the motions, I wanted to talk about the stages. Stage one is the curiosity and being drawn to it, whether it be traumatic times in your life, whether it be a divorce, whether it be a death, whether it be an accident, whether it be injury, whether it be love, whatever it is will bring you closer to the divine. The search for answers can come through a lot of different ways. It could be you reading the Bible. A lot of people have their awakening through spirituality, whether it be someone saying that, okay, I'm going to be a devout Buddhist or Islam or Christianity. It could be law of attraction or being spiritual, going to tarot card readers. All of this counts in the first stage of curiosity. I just want to put this out there that the minute you decide to search for answers, the right answers will come to you. That is just how the universe works. When I wanted answers, when I wanted to figure out what was going on with me, what was happening really, I projected it and the right teachers came to me. I think for a good first half of 2019, I just, like literally every day, I would say, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. This is happening. I'm not crazy. And I was basically living in this reality and this truth that no one around me could actually understand. It was hard to find resonance, and I called out and I found a soul tribe online of people who, divine feminines out there who are awakening, who are going through the motions of it, who are going through the different relationships they were going through, who were going through the same stages that I was, and I found a community. Physically, where I was, there was no one who was going through what I was going through, but I have my American friends, my Canadian friends, my friends in the UK, who I literally met on like YouTube because we were all awakening simultaneously. Now, stage two is the high of the 5D. Let me tell you, once you experience heaven, it's crazy because you realize the power and the insignificance of the small things once you have a taste of what's out there. And it circles back to yourself because you realize, oh, this was in me the whole time. I had access to this the whole time. I've been lying to myself this whole time. And there's this detachment where you literally live in the fifth dimension for a bit and it's bliss. Then comes the third stage where it's pain. Once you start awakening, you realize that in order to grow and in order to move forward and in order to enhance as a human being, you have to work through your stuff. You have to grow, you have to heal, you have to reflect, you have to objectively look at things. This is when you start growing to the point where the things that hurt you, whether it be abuse, whether it be trauma, whether it be relationships that didn't work, whatever it is that you were avoiding, the things that gave you anxiety, you look at them. In the episode Flashbacks, we touched on this. This is where that episode comes into play in stage three. And stage three pops in and out for the rest of your life, really, because you're constantly working on things. But the first shadow side, the shadow side of awakening is the hardest, is because you're basically working through your whole life at that moment. Yeah, you continue to work, but it slowly but surely gets easier because you are working on individual things, if that makes sense. Then comes the part where you realize that, okay, wait, I am this master creator. I am aware of the divine. I can use it to my advantage. I am grateful. You find things like gratitude, you find things like the power of now. You realize that you create this reality you're in and you have access to so much more. You see things differently, you know? And part of stage three that I left out actually is relationships. A lot of people lose friends. I don't want to lie to you. Most of the people that you surround yourself with, 90% of them are going because once you raise your vibration, things that don't resonate anymore don't stick. A lot of the time, your friends trigger you, and fights will erupt and misunderstandings, and they will literally start dropping like flies. It hurts, and you want to hold on, and you don't want to let go because you genuinely care about these people. It wouldn't hurt you if you didn't care. But the thing is, it's for your highest good. It's got nothing to do with them and has nothing to do with you, but it has everything to do with resonance and like attracting like. It's not like a hydrogen particle just go around and like, in fact, I'm not even going to use that example because scientists out there will be sitting there like, yeah, no, it makes a compound, but like, like attracts like, and then you realize that, oh wait, this doesn't work anymore. I remember in the beginning, like 2019, I put it out there and I was like, God, everyone who doesn't serve me, I need them out of my life. And people started dropping like flies. It was terrible. It hurt. And I was isolated for so long. And slowly but surely, the people who were meant to be in my life are the ones who stayed, the ones who I didn't have to. I wasn't the one who had to keep the relationship alive. And they actually checked in with me, are the people who stayed in my life. In retrospect, it's the best thing that had ever happened to me. But in the moment, it felt like the end of the world. That is probably one of the hardest stages, is because you transition into this new way of being and this new part of life where you're like, wait, nothing is ever going to be the same anymore. You start meditating and realizing the power of now, and you start manifesting and you start seeing small things happening for you. You start connecting to your life purpose. A lot of people change career, they change direction, they change focus, they change perspective. Awakening makes you look at yourself for who you are, not who you project to be and who you want the world to be. You stop living for other people and what they will see you as, and you start caring about what you will see yourself as. You start thinking about your soul mission, what you can impart in this world, and you start centering into yourself. With all that being said, the whole world is going through an awakening right now. A lot of people have hit depressions, but your depression is more of an evaluation. You're becoming aware of the fact that who you are now isn't who you want to be. What you're doing now isn't what you want to pursue. The reality that you're living in just feels like you're in a foreign body because you realize that there's more out there that you're yet to experience. You're searching and you're searching and you're searching and you're trying to make sense of it. But the thing is, you have to open yourself up to answers. Just put it out there. Just say that, okay, let the people who will help me grow in the right direction come to me. You start connecting to your intuition in a sense where you'll know what resonates and you know what won't. You will know what's meant for you and you will know what's not. For example, a lot of people may not resonate with me. That's fine because there are literally thousands of teachers and healers and pastors and energy healers and gurus and just people who are set to shine the light on the world, who are around and available and at your disposal. Why is it that like that? Because different people resonate with different things, and different paths are paved for different people, and different energy gravitates towards different energy. There's always answers, there's always a way to find the way out, you know? I truly believe that we're going to reach a point where consciousness and wanting to evolve and a spiritual evolution will be the norm. And when I went through my own, I was also really focused on the material aspect, like how much money am I going to get, how much, like what am I going to do with this, and like my house and like Forbes 100. And that's all very real, and they're aspirations that you're in your right to have. But it's my contribution to the world that has become my main focus now. I found the power of now and living in the moment and being present, and that changed my perspective and outlook and everything. Just being outside and looking at the trees has a different type of resonance than it did before. I was constantly looking in the rear view or trying to live in the future that I forgot about the present, because that's what counts, you know? You find balance, you find truth, you find healing, and you find peace. And to all those going through a spiritual awakening right now, I hope this finds you well. I hope you find resonance. I hope this grinds your gears. And this wasn't an episode to answer all your questions. I feel like we'll break it down and dissect it layer by layer, but this was just to give you a rough idea that, like, wait, am I really going through an awakening? What should I expect? What can I possibly go through? This was just to give you a taste of what is happening and that, like, you're not crazy. So if this helped you, great. I'm so happy. Like, that's what I wanted to achieve and accomplish. If this didn't, that's okay too. I hope it got you questioning. And yeah, I'm going to end it at that, guys. Have an amazing day. Light, love, and good vibrations.